What if I told you that right now, there's a guy who thinks about you every single day, but he's too terrified to admit it? Maybe it's someone you already know. Maybe it's a guy who's been quietly watching from a distance, waiting for the perfect moment, but never finding the courage to speak up. And the craziest part? You might be completely ignoring all the signs without even realizing it. Because here's the truth, most guys won't just walk up and confess their feelings. They won't risk rejection unless they're 100% sure you feel the same way. So instead, they drop subtle hints, hidden gestures, and tiny clues, hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll figure it out. But what if you're missing these signs? What if someone is falling for you right now, and you have no idea? Well, that changes today. Because in this video, I'm going to expose 8 powerful signs that a guy is secretly obsessed with you, even if he's too scared to say a single word. And here's the deal, if you notice even one of these signs, he's into you. No doubt. No second guessing. No confusion. So don't miss this, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how he feels about you, and you'll never have to wonder again. Before we dive into the signs, let me share a quick story, because this happens more often than you think. A friend of mine, let's call her Alexa, had this guy in her class who always found ways to be around her. He'd save her a seat, laugh at her jokes, even the bad ones, and remember things she barely even mentioned. But here's the thing, he never actually said anything. She assumed he was just being nice, until one day, months later, she found out from a mutual friend, he had been crushing on her the whole time. And guess what? She liked him too, but because either of them made a move, nothing ever happened. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs. Because you might have a guy in your life right now who's silently waiting for you to notice before it's too late. Now, let's get into the 8 signs, so you never miss the hints again. If you love decoding hidden emotions and understanding relationships on a deeper level, you're in the right place. Don't just watch, be part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button and become a part of the Soulful family. Let's uncover more secrets of love, attraction, and human connection, together. Number 1. He finds excuses to be near you. A guy who secretly likes you won't always come out and say it, but his actions will speak louder than words. One of the biggest giveaways? He constantly finds reasons to be near you. It's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. If you're at a party somehow, he always seems to end up in your orbit, standing just close enough to be part of your conversation, even if he's not actively talking to you. At work or school, he consistently chooses a seat near you, acting as if it's purely by chance. But deep down, it's not random at all. Even in group settings, when there are plenty of other people around, you'll notice that he naturally gravitates toward you. He may offer to help with small things, like passing you something or holding the door open, just so he has a reason to interact with you. If you're moving from one spot to another, you might find that he somehow follows, without making it obvious. It's almost like there's an invisible force pulling him in your direction. He might not have the confidence to express his feelings outright, but his body language and proximity will give him away. And here's the thing, this behavior isn't accidental. It's a subconscious way of showing interest. A guy who has no feelings for you won't put in the effort to always be nearby. But someone who is secretly obsessed with you, he'll take every chance he gets to be close, to share the same space, and to make his presence known, even if he never actually says a word. Number 2. He texts you for the dumbest reasons. If a guy keeps finding random excuses to text you, it's a huge sign that he likes you, more than he's willing to admit. Think about it. When someone genuinely isn't interested, they don't go out of their way to keep conversations going. But if he's texting you about things that don't really matter, it's not because he's bored, it's because he wants to stay connected to you. Maybe he sends a simple, "Hey, what's up?" with no real reason, just to see if you'll respond. Or he might randomly ask for your opinion on the most pointless things, like which color looks better for a shirt, what movie he should watch, or whether pineapples belong on pizza. Spoiler alert, he doesn't actually care about the answer. He's just looking for an excuse to keep talking to you. And then there are the memes, the funny TikToks, the songs he thinks you'd like. He'll send them casually, pretending it's nothing, but in reality, it's his way of staying in your mind. If he's doing this consistently, it's not just friendly banter. It means he thinks about you often, and instead of saying, "I miss you," outright, he'll just drop something in your inbox, hoping you'll take the bait and keep the conversation going. So, the next time he texts you something completely unnecessary, don't brush it off. It's not random. It's him trying, really trying, to stay connected to you. Number 3. He tries to play it cool, but you catch him slipping. Some guys are absolutely terrified of rejection. Instead of wearing their hearts on their sleeves, they try to hide their feelings behind a mask of indifference. But no matter how hard he tries to act cool, there will always be little moments where he slips up, and those moments tell you everything. Maybe he teases you in a playful way, always finding reasons to joke around with you, but never actually admitting that he likes you. He might act like he doesn't care, brushing off compliments or pretending your presence doesn't affect him. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice that his actions tell a completely different story. One moment, he's completely engaged in conversation, laughing at your jokes, holding eye contact, maybe even leaning in when you talk. But then, almost as if he catches himself being too obvious, he suddenly pulls away. He goes quiet, looks around the room, or shifts his body language like he's trying to regain control of his emotions. It's like he's constantly battling between wanting to be close to you and being too scared to reveal just how much he actually cares. And here's the truth, guys don't do this with just anyone. If he was truly indifferent, he wouldn't care about how he acts around you. But the fact that he's trying to play it cool, yet keeps slipping, means he feels something deep, but he's afraid to let it show. Number 4. His eyes give him away, every single time. They say the eyes never lie, and when a guy secretly likes you, his gaze will expose him no matter how hard he tries to hide it. He might think he's being subtle, but if you pay attention, you'll start noticing a pattern. His eyes are always on you. Maybe you'll catch him staring when he thinks you're not looking. He's watching you laugh, noticing the way you talk, taking in all the little details about you. But the second your eyes meet, he panics. He'll look away quickly, pretending he wasn't watching at all. It's almost like he got caught doing something he wasn't supposed to, even though all he's guilty of is wanting to admire you. But then there's another kind of stare, the deeper, more intense one. The kind where he holds eye contact just a second too long before breaking away. It's almost like he's trying to say something without speaking, like he wants you to see what he can't bring himself to say out loud. And if he's really into you, he might even get a little nervous and start blinking more, fidgeting, or looking down after holding your gaze for too long. Want to test if he's been watching you? Next time you're near him, look away for a few seconds, then quickly snap your gaze back to him. If his eyes were locked on you and he suddenly shifts away, that's your confirmation. He's been watching you the whole time. Whether he admits it or not, his eyes already told you everything. Number 5. He finds silly reasons to touch you. When a guy is secretly crushing on you, he won't just rely on words. He'll try to create a physical connection, even in the smallest ways. But because he's too nervous to be direct, he'll find innocent, accidental reasons to touch you, hoping you won't notice the deeper meaning behind it. Maybe he, accidentally, brushes against your arm while reaching for something. Maybe he gives you high fives for the most random things that don't even need a high five. Or perhaps he lightly touches your shoulder or back when he's laughing at your joke. These little touches seem casual, but they're not random at all. And here's the key, does he only do this with you? Watch how he interacts with others. If he's naturally touchy with everyone, then it might just be his personality. But if you notice that he only finds excuses to touch you, even in the most subtle ways, then it's a clear sign that he feels something special. Because let's be real, guys don't go out of their way to touch someone they're not interested in. If he's finding excuses to break that invisible barrier, even just for a second, it means he's drawn to you and wants to feel close to you, even if he's too scared to admit it outright. Number 6. He gets quiet or withdraws. Sometimes. One of the biggest signs that a guy secretly likes you, but is too afraid to admit it, is when he randomly pulls away for no reason. One day, He's laughing at all your jokes, making conversation, and finding ways to be around you. The next? He's distant, quieter than usual, or even avoiding you completely. This hot and cold behavior isn't about losing interest, it's about overthinking. He's caught in a battle with himself. Maybe he's afraid he's being too obvious. Maybe he worries that you don't feel the same way, and he's trying to protect himself from potential rejection. Or maybe, just maybe, he's feeling the weight of his emotions and doesn't know how to handle them. It's a classic sign of a guy who has feelings but doesn't know what to do with them. And here's the thing, if he truly didn't care, he wouldn't be acting so conflicted in the first place. So if you notice him suddenly withdrawing or acting more reserved around you, don't assume he's lost interest. Chances are, he likes you so much that it's actually overwhelming him. And sometimes, the only way he knows how to deal with it is by pulling away, just to process his emotions. Number 7. He gets super protective of you. When a guy secretly likes you, his protective instincts kick in automatically, even if he never directly admits his feelings. It's almost like a subconscious reaction. He just can't help but look out for you. Ever notice how he checks on you when you seem upset, even if you haven't said a word? Or how he subtly steps in when someone is making you uncomfortable, positioning himself between you and the situation? Maybe he insists on walking you to your car, making sure you get home safely, or casually reminding you to be careful about something, even if it seems unnecessary. These little gestures aren't random. They're signs that he cares about your well-being. And while he might not openly say, "I like you," his actions scream it loud and clear. Because here's the truth, guys don't go out of their way to protect someone they don't care about. If he's always looking out for you, whether it's offering help when you're struggling or just making sure you're okay, it's a strong sign that he has real feelings for you. And the best part? He might not even realize he's doing it. Number 8. He remembers every little thing about you. Most people don't pay attention to small details, but when a guy secretly likes you, he notices everything, even things you don't expect him to remember. Did you casually mention your favorite snack in a random conversation weeks ago? He brings it up like it was the most important thing he ever heard. Did you tell him about a big test, a stressful work project, or an event you were nervous about? He actually remembers and asks how it went. Even tiny things, like the way you take your coffee, the song you said you loved, or the little habits you have, stick in his mind. Why? Because when someone truly likes you, even the smallest details about you feel important. It's not just about having a good memory. It's about emotional investment. When a guy genuinely cares, he holds on to the things that make you, you. And sometimes, he'll surprise you by bringing up something you barely remember saying, because to him, every little thing about you is worth remembering. Alright, now you know the hidden signs that a guy is secretly crushing on you. But here's the real question: what should you do next? First, don't overthink it. If you feel the same way about him, start giving subtle signals back. A little extra eye contact, a playful joke, or even just responding to his energy can give him the confidence to make a move. But here's the most important advice: never chase someone who is too afraid to step up. If he's interested but stuck in fear, it's not your job to drag him out of it. A guy who truly wants you will eventually find the courage to say something, or he'll risk losing his chance. That's just how attraction works. And if you're sitting here wondering, but what if he never confesses? Ask yourself this: do you want someone who lets fear control their actions? Confidence is attractive. And a guy who's worth your time will make sure you know exactly how he feels. So here's your pro tip: pay attention to the signs, but never settle for uncertainty. If he's into you, he'll show it. And if he's too scared forever? That's his loss, not yours. Now let me know in the comments, which of these signs have you noticed before?